Good morning and welcome to 10-Minute English Cafe. It is Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Happy Thursday! The cafe feels extra important today because it is already warm outside. I was thinking the same thing. A cafe can become more than a place to buy coffee. It becomes a place to sit, cool down, and feel human again. Exactly. That gives us today's keyword, public, spelled P-U-B-L-I-C.
Public sounds official, but it also feels very everyday.
Right. Public can mean open to people, but it can also describe a shared role in society.
Like a building that holds history, or a room that gives people shelter for an hour.
Today we look at cultural spaces and the different jobs they do.
I like that. Buildings with secret second careers.
First, the Vatican is beginning a major restoration of the Raphael Loggia,
A corridor with centuries of art and powerful footsteps.
Then we visit the Lincoln Memorial, where a hidden underground space has opened to the public. A famous monument with a basement story. I am listening. And finally, we look at French museums during a heat wave, when some became cool havens and others had to close. So today's theme is history, hidden space, and air conditioning with meaning. Before we begin, if you are new here, we turn real news into natural English conversation every day, with words you can use when you talk about places, culture, and daily life. If that helps your listening practice, please subscribe and join us for 10 minutes. Let's open the doors carefully. Our first story comes from AP and takes us to the Vatican Museums. That already sounds like a quiet, echoing hallway. The Vatican is beginning a 5-year restoration of the Raphael Loggia. What is a loggia? A loggia is a covered gallery or corridor, often open on one side. So it is not just a room, it is a walking space. Exactly. This corridor is about 65 meters long and was created between 1517 and 1519 for Leo X. That's older than many countries' current borders. The restoration is expected to cost about $5.5 million. Restoration means repairing and preserving something old, right? Yes. In art and architecture, restoration tries to protect the original work while making it stable for the future. That sounds delicate. You're touching history, but you don't want to erase it. Exactly. The AP article also mentions frescoes. Frescoes are paintings made on wet plaster, often on walls or ceilings. Right. One important guardrail is that this corridor is not generally open to the public. Interesting. So today's keyword gets complicated immediately. It does. A place can be closed to visitors and still have public cultural value, because preserving it protects a piece of shared history. Well said. This story is not about more tourists walking through tomorrow. It's about keeping a fragile historic space alive. Our second story is also about history, but this time the door really opens.
I am ready for the basement story.
The New York Post reported that a hidden undercroft beneath the Lincoln Memorial has opened to the public.
Undercroft is a new word for me.
An undercroft is an underground space beneath a building, often below a church, hall, or monument.
So beneath means under, but it sounds a little more formal.
Exactly. This space is about 15,000 square feet.
That is not a tiny storage closet. That is a whole hidden world.
The new visitor area includes construction marks, historical displays, and multimedia presentation.
I love when a building shows how it was made.
Me too. A famous monument can feel almost finished and fixed in our imagination.
But underneath, there can be beams, marks, and unfinished-looking history.
The useful phrase here is open to the public. That means ordinary visitors can now enter, not just workers or specialists. Exactly. The surprise is that one of the most famous places on the National Mall still had an unseen layer.
It makes the monument feel less like a postcard and more like a living structure. That's a nice way to say it. Also, hidden is a strong word for storytelling.
Yes, hidden history gives people a reason to look again at a place they thought they knew.
Public access can change the story without changing the monument.
Our final story moves to museums during a heat wave. Suddenly, the cafe air conditioning feels like part of the episode. The Le Monde reported that some museums and monuments became cool havens during extreme heat. Haven is a beautiful word. It means a safe or comfortable place, especially when outside conditions are difficult. So, a cool haven is a place where people can escape the heat. Exactly. Some museums offered free or discounted admission.
That changes the role of a museum.
Yes, it is not only a place to look at art, it can become public refuge. Refuge means a place that gives protection or relief. Right, but the story has another side.
Let me guess. Some places could not stay open?
Exactly. The Le Monde article says major sites, including the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, faced reduced hours or closures.
Reduced hours means they opened for less time than usual.
Yes, and forced to close means conditions made closing necessary.
That makes the public role harder. People need the building, but the building also has limits.
That is the key tension. Cultural spaces can help during heat, but they aren't magic. They have staff, old structures, safety rules, and real temperatures. Exactly. This story shows how climate stress can change what we expect from public buildings. A museum becomes part gallery, part shelter, part city service. Today's keyword was public, and every story gave it a different shape. At the Vatican, a space not usually open to visitors still carried public cultural value. Preservation can be a public act even behind closed doors. At the Lincoln Memorial, a hidden undercroft became newly open to the public. Access changed how people can understand a famous monument. And in France, museums showed how cultural buildings can become public refuge during a heat wave. When they can stay open, they can offer more than exhibitions. So, here is today's question. Which public role stood out to you? Option A is restoring the Raphael Loggia. Option B is opening the Lincoln Memorial Undercroft. Option C is museums becoming cool havens during a heat wave. Tell us in the comments. Take today's words with you. Public spaces can hold history, but they also serve people in the present. That makes me look at this cafe a little differently. If this conversation helped your English, please like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow. Have a good Thursday, and notice the public spaces that quietly help your day.